for this e-talk show besides being the managing director at Alchemist.
My pleasure, and you're a very persuasive person, Manish.
Manish, there are a lot of advantages of coming onto your show.
My nickname is Mickey. मिकी से कुछ करना है और वो नहीं मान रहा है, the only person कुछ सुनेगा किसी की तो वो उनकी मम्मी है.
Honestly, the biggest competition to Niranjan Hiranandani is Niranjan Hiranandani of today.
यारा तेरी यारी को मैंने तो खुदा माना.
Hello.
I can go on record that I love more jewelry than my wife does.
Hey, Manish, you don't even have to ask such stupid questions. क्या बात कर रहा है? The wife is always right.
I just wrote my name on the answer paper, wrote the question itself as in the answer paper and gave it back.
रंग का ब्रश कहाँ से लेना, स्क्रू कहाँ से लेना, पेंट के कौन एजेंट्स थे, वो सब वॉकिंग करके सब my father had taught me at that.
There's some superpower up there which I'm just fooling around with. Why don't I just surrender? And when I said surrender, I just surrendered completely and totally, Manish.
Being first myth that we need to bust is being spiritual is going away.
Thanks a lot for bringing so many of my friends and family and my wife speak about me.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome to the 5th episode of Clay Dialogue Season 2. And let's welcome the host for the afternoon, Manish Porwal, the Managing Director of Alchemist. Welcome, Manish.
Thank you, Rishi. Thank you very much. Good evening and good afternoon, everybody. Once again, after a couple of weeks, this one, well, a lot of people said, please wait for us because we are very busy and a lot was happening in these 2 weeks. So we did wait. And here we are back with you. Happy to be back. In fact, we'll be closing the season soon and we'll be coming back a bit later in a new avatar for season 3. So this is the penultimate episode, the last episode being the next one. My name is Manish Porwal, Managing Director at Alchemist and its real estate division Clay. And sitting in this wonderful city of Pune today, I welcome you to episode 5. As we begin, allow me to fondly remember an ex-colleague of ours, Himanshu Thakur, whom we lost day before. Himanshu was absolute life for us. Having said that, I think he would have said the same. The show must go on. And that's what is happening right now. So Himanshu, missing you, but moving forward to happy times as they go along. What definitely makes us excited about today is the fact that we have for the first time somebody who's a non-builder. In fact, in all the 17 episodes so far, there have been builders. And today we have somebody completely different, who's not just known for his entrepreneurship and his vision, but is also known for what he brings to the table, design. And someone who's celebrity less than nobody in Bollywood. In fact, he is the Amitabh Bachchan of the architectural world. What makes us happier, more excited, is that we have him today when he exactly completes 71 years. Yes, it's our special guest's birthday as well. Let's play the video team, please. Ladies and gentlemen, Devyor Sajjano, as Amitabh Bachchan would say, please welcome to your screen at your own office or at your own home, the one who shall not require to be named, but will still be named. And he, of course, needs an introduction. Padma Bhushan, Mr. Hafeez Contractor. Hafeez, a very, very, very warm welcome to you and a very happy birthday to you, sir. So glad to have you today. Can we have the volume on? Can we hear you, sir?
Thank you, Manish, for having me on your program. Uh, I'm happy to be with you. Let's start what you want to know and what you want to ask. I'm all ready for you.
Absolutely happy to have you, as I said, and absolutely happy to have one more little ritual. We can't go without that, and it's here. Can we have the first ever birthday celebration on Clay Dialogues? And while Hafiz, you must have thrown many grand parties, but here's a party with your own fans, people who want to listen to you for the first time. So, can we get the cake on, please?
Oh my gosh.
Hafiz, your own home, we have invaded it. Team Clay, can we have the cake on, please?
As if was. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Okay, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, you won't get it very often when such a legend is cutting a cake before you. Have I embarrassed you enough, sir? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me at all, Hafeez?
I can hear you. I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Wonderful. I thought it was a technical glitch, but it is not. So with that, we move on. And I'm glad that you could cut the cake before all your fans. Hafeez, the dialogue today, and I know it's your birthday, so we're not going to take you very, very long. It'll go in 5 sections, as you know. The first one, shop talk. Following that will be you talk, where we talk about you and beyond the work that you do. FNF connections, which is friends and family. Then we have an open house where we are requesting even now people to post their questions, whatever you want to ask Hafeez. We will take those questions either directly or ask you to come in, whichever way my team wants to do. And finally, we'll have what is the most interesting section, which is rapid conversations, the place where you don't think, you just answer. And as we trot through your journey, Hafeez, we'll be joined in live and recorded by some of your friends, colleagues, clients, people who admire you, and so on and so forth. So let's begin our first segment of our program, and that's where we bring in the questions that probably bother the people most. But here they are. Are you good to go, Hafeez? Can't hear you again. But okay, shall I ask the question? Can you guys hear me?
Asking me?
Yes, absolutely. We'll begin then, if you could hear me. So, Hafeez.
I didn't hear. What's the question?
No, I will pose the question now. I'm saying such a long and illustrious career, Hafeez, a long one at that. Probably never a dull moment in this entire career of so many years, almost 50. Just wanted to know, when did you first realize that you had made it really, really big? That people were listening to you more than most other architects in the world. When did that happen? Was there a turning point, or was it just very gradual?
I never felt ever that you made it big. In fact, every day is a new day, and every day you have to prove yourself and do something new and better. And the day you feel that you have made it and that's it, that's the day you retire. If you don't have anything new to give, then you retire. If you have something new to give, and I feel that every day I think of something new and how to do it, and something which I feel is the real reason and the need of the hour, and how to solve that need of the hour. And that makes me go. And that is what I do.
Glad to hear it. I expected that, Hafeez. But so many years, almost 5 decades. Am I right, of work? Almost that
Beg
much?
your pardon?
Almost 5 decades of work?
Yes, I think it's my 52nd year right now, and I started my working in my cousin's office in 1968.
Right.
At 30 rupees salary. Though I got an increment of 20 rupees on the first month, and that's it. And I never looked back. I was very happy with 50 rupees salary. I'm very happy today. What I did with 50 rupees, I'm doing the same things. I have every need satisfied. So I'm very, very happy.
Actually, with this answer, Hafeez, you've opened up a lot of questions, but I think I'll come to them later. But before that, how do you make yourself relevant every single day? I mean, you're so relevant today. You were so relevant 20 years ago. And it's been a long, long journey. It's not a short journey. And it's a business where technology, where innovation comes in every single day. How do you keep yourself relevant? And that's a surprise. That's a genuine surprise that I have. It's very easy to do that in building, in construction. But how do you do that in design?
It's very easy. As I just told you a few minutes back, that I never think like, oh, this is it, and this is the way it has to be done. When a client comes to me and he tells me that, oh, this is the problem, and sometimes finance is the problem, sometimes time is the problem, sometimes there are some social conditions which are a problem.
Right.
And rather than having a set mind, I look at those, and those problems really gives me the way I should do it, and that is the creativity, and that is the new thing. And
Right.
I'll tell you about when it comes like this. There have been many cases, different things at different times. But one of the cases which I would like to quote to you is once a bureaucrat lady came to me, and as usual, she said, "Oh, Mr. Contractor, you're a very big architect and all that. You'll not work for me and this, that." She had made up her mind, and she said, "But at least just do me a tender, make a tender for me." And I said, "Madam, tell me, what is it?" She says, "Oh, I'm from the education department, and we want to make 500 schools all over Maharashtra." So I said, "Very good." And I asked her, "What is your budget?" She says, "My budget is 1,10,000 per school." So I said, "My God," and a lot of times when such things happen, I never say directly to the client. I never said, "My God," but I said, "My God," in my mind, and I said, 1,10,000. What the hell she's going to do? So then I talked to her, and she said that, "Oh, all these schools are going to be in the villages of Maharashtra." And she says, I said, "What are you doing now?" She said, "Oh, we have designed one cabin of about 10 by 12. So I said, "What will that? It's not going to be a school." So she says, "Yeah, but what can we do? We have only 1,10,000, this, that." So then I just suddenly got an idea, and I said, "Oh, it will be in villages of Maharashtra where land won't be a problem." She says, "Oh, no, land is not going to be a problem." And if you have ever gone to any villages of Maharashtra or any of India, there is a lot of dirt, there is a lot of stones, there is a lot of rabbit all along. So I said, why can we not? And I drew up a plan and I gave it to her. What I did, I took about, say, half an acre of land. I said, "You will give me half an acre of land." I made a wall which was about 5 feet high out of all the mud, of the village, and make a high wall round, 5 feet high. And I said, "Okay, every village in any part of India, in the beginning of the village or end of the village, there are some people selling old doors, old windows. Just take one door and put the door in the mud wall. then create 2 windows or 3 windows where you will have some slates and pencils and everything is kept.
Right.
Select a site which has got 1 or 2 trees, and we made 2 sheds with mangrove tiles and made 2 small compounds around one, where one would be the toilet for the girls and one would be toilet for the ladies. And every time the mother would come and leave the kid, the kids will run around in the compound. There is no way that somebody has to look after them. The door is closed. And when there is rain, as it is, no kids will come to the school in villages. And we made a school in 1,10,000.
Wow.
That was possible. Now that is the creativity if you keep your mind open. That's what, and that makes me go. When I started work for Hiranandani, okay, and at that time, it was in, I think, 1982 and 82 or 83. And that time, everybody wanted things faster, better, and all the buildings were box type. And I felt that, why should buildings be just like box type? Why can it not have more architectural features? So we started with, since in Mumbai, the bylaws are such strong and they really don't allow you to do anything.
Right.
It was the 2 feet 6 inches where I could play. And that 2 feet 6 inches, yes, I could play, but that will be more expensive. And all the buildings were leaking because all brick walls were leaking. However much you do, you put waterproofing compound, you put whatever you like,
right,
they would be leaking. So what I did, I started a double wall concept. Okay. And with that double wall concept, we created like a complete raincoat outside. Now that will cost the client more. Mm-hmm. But by the inside wall, which was 9 inches, I made it to 6 inches, by which I gave 3 inches to the builder to sell. The owner will be happier in the same built-up area. He is getting more carpet area and the buildings won't leak. So it was a win-win situation for everyone. Yeah. And that's what changed the whole architectural look for the next 30 years.
True.
This is what I'm saying. Today, we are on a completely different ball game. There is a different need of the hour. The country needs more houses. The country needs economic housing. We are on that. But every time you cannot be lucky that the guy opposite side is going to listen to you. Yes, all along the builders listen to me, the bureaucrat listen to me. Today, it is the time, if you want to do something on a grander scale, the politicians have to listen to you. Mm-hmm. But I haven't got the right approach, or I am working on it. And if that happens, I can give economic housing. I can eradicate slums of the whole country. And that is what I want to get to.
Absolutely. In fact, my next question before I introduce our special guest is that only with Hiranandani, was there added pressure? Because that was a turning point where you started getting known very differently and there was a tangential, absolutely different rise. But after that, was there pressure, self-inflicted or otherwise, that you have to keep coming up with newer things and keep innovating and keep doing, changing the landscape completely?
No, I believe in that unless and until you reinvent yourself virtually every day, you are a dead man. The first building I did for Hiranandani was Beach Classic. We created those pitch roofs, we created, those cast iron gates, Doric columns, and it was a completely different way of how builders used to do. We did that. Then Niranjan and Surendra gave me a very nice and big job that was Powai. Now Powai at that time was not known, to be very frank. It was virtually people used to go there just on weekends, and it was known for the great parties of on Christmas days and all that. And when I went to Powai, it was a barren quarry, and there were hills, and we created Lake Castle. Now, when we created Lake Castle, we saw to it, though it was a large scheme, it would have been like a mass housing. But I didn't want to create a mass housing. I wanted to create something which is very, very exclusive. Each and everyone should look at the lake. Each and everyone, his flat or her flat would be different, something different from others, but better. Some were duplex, some were larger flats. Somebody had big decks, somebody had smaller balconies. And there was the hills at the back, so we created a large cutout so that I could see the hills from the back. And today, that building would be a small building, but at that time, it was something like some 200 feet long, and it was 22 stories high.
Right.
And Powai, which was not known, came on the map of real estate of Mumbai.
Not just
So
Mumbai, the rest
if
of
you
India
look
as well.
at it, every time, every month, every second month, all have to do something big, and that's how life goes on.
Lovely. And at this stage, allow me to introduce somebody who's a self-proclaimed fan, one of the builders who's really known in the city and of course the country as well. May I invite the MD of one of the biggest groups, Dosti Realty, Deepak Goradia ji. Can you please come on screen, sir? Welcome, sir. Thank you so much for agreeing to be a part of the show for Hafeez.
Thank you for inviting.
And Deepak, my question is very simple. I know that you have very little time today, but my question is pretty simple. So what do you have in store? What do you think about Hafeez?
First of all, let me wish Hafeez sir many happy returns of the day. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
I've been working for almost...
Thank you, Deepak bhai.
I've been working with Hafeez sir for more than 25 years or more.
Right.
His fingers are a magical finger. The moment we get some piece of plot and show him this is a shape and this is a piece of plot and where is it located, within 10-15 minutes on the table, fingers would move so quick and so fast, and he would create the things, and he was explain and visualize the 3D of the entire project in 10-15 minutes that this is the thing you need to do on this plot. And within first meeting itself, we get convinced, okay, let's proceed as per the 2-3 alternate. Among that, you shortlist one layout and close the things and move further. It is such a fast fingers, and his work style and all, such a great speed. Along with that, time point of view, when do you want it? He would ask me, when do you want it? If I say I have a 15 days time, he would finish it in 3 days time, and he would himself call, please come to my office, let's discuss further. So the speed and the time, unbelievable, and the creativity. Along with the entire team, we have such a wonderful time, such a wonderful relation. Even our team also, his humbleness is such a great that he is happy to even, for any of the project, he is happy to even discuss if myself or even my team or even my children's or with my staff, anyone, he is open to discuss directly. I have seen him discussing with anyone. If the owner comes or the team member comes, same respect, and that humbleness is something unbelievably great. I've never seen a person like him in my life and my career. I really respect him to the level best for his creativity. Understanding about the market also, he has a wonderful understanding, from affordable to the high-end luxury and all whatever. He himself comes, we did not even have a marketing consultant before we start designing. He himself is a creative marketing consultant also. along with the architecture, design, creativity. So we're very happy and to have association with sir for the almost 30 years or more. And all our projects point of view, all our teams, we are really thankful to you, sir.
I must tell you, Hafeez sir, this is the first time when we got somebody saying, hey, can I come on the show and talk about him? Normally we go out to people, ask, inquire. So yes, Deepak ji, I completely understand your sentiment, and I'm so glad that you're speaking such great things and on his birthday. But let me also ask you a cheeky question. So if you were to change that one thing, any one thing about sir, any one thing, what would that be? Something that you just cannot digest. Difficult to find, but I'm sure you will.
His office is an open office.
Uh-huh.
Something is really about visiting the office, that he creates best of the offices across India, across the world. But his office is a different example by itself.
Yeah.
Open office, different features of the various samples and all. Once I took my cousin who's working, he had a understanding of Hafeez at the different level, and then we went together for one of the township project, and he got really shocked to see the office. Yeah, can't we have a conference room? It was 10 years before when he did not have the large conference room. And why can't we discuss? When I discuss in open, and next somebody is sitting, other client and third client and all. So that was something which he got little so disturbed that definitely now he has cabins and conference rooms now. But that is something, that we always, but we enjoy. We've been habituated working open table and the conference. So we as a people, we enjoy working like that.
Yes, I've seen that. In fact, his office, his own office is just above the stairs, and he can watch everybody working out there. Hafeez sir, is that also part of your design, that you can actually see all the work happening and all the people leaving at different points in time?
It's like, yes, definitely you see people working, you can call them, you can ask them things. And I feel that the best thing, I like working on 4 or 5 things at the same time. And this makes it possible for me to work on 4 or 5 things at the same time. Sometimes, I'm a little bit bogged down with something which I don't get an idea on one. I'll suddenly jump to another job, get or something by the time. So it's my way of working, and I feel that it's a very healthy way of working, rather than sitting in a cabin and dozing off. This everybody keeps you alive, and I like it. And it's the most economic way of doing your interior. No cabins, no doors, no partitions. Maximum cost is gone. Lighting same, so no task light, nothing. It's a general light. So it's the most economical way of working, and it's the most efficient way of working.
Absolutely, I second that. I wish most people understood that.
People also. Again, the most economical way.
So I think Deepak ji is also talking about huddle rooms, where he's sure that his design is only understood by him and not the next client. But I get that.
With all that also, all of that is possible. And I'm very thankful to Deepak Bhai for saying something. Thank you.
Deepak ji, thank you so much. I know that you have to rush, so we'll let you go. Thank you so much. But if you can be a part of the show and listen to whatever part you can, please do. Please continue with the show. Thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you.
Please, my next question is going towards something that I think by now you love. You are like any other celebrity in any other field. You're controversial, and there is a lot of controversy. And let me open up the first one first. So is the brand now even bigger than the man who made the brand? Is that what it was meant to be, and is that how it is, or is the other way around?
I think you are on a completely wrong track.
Okay, let's hear the right one.
There is nothing like a brand. It is just efficient delivery, faster delivery,
okay,
more appropriate delivery.
Okay.
If all of that, economical delivery, if all of that is not there, there is no brand in the next 5 minutes. If somebody comes and you are going to sit like a big boy and say, "Oh, my brand," then that fellow will say in his mind, "Hell with you," and he'll walk off. It's all of these which makes an efficient machine, and that is what people come to you for.
Yep.
An efficient machine which delivers and which produces like a slot machine, fatak. And that is what is needed. And with creativity. Okay? If you think you are a brand, then you are a dead man.
That's a good one. So a lot of people who take themselves a little too seriously must learn from this. In fact, Hafeez sir, let me ask you a very simple question. I've heard that you hardly say no to any client. I mean, I don't know the commercial angle. You don't say no to clients. You hardly say no's to clients except for commercial clauses, maybe if there are any. I don't know about that. But is that true that you're more inclusive? Uh, Far more inclusive than most other architects would be. They would take only a few things at a certain time, but you're happy to take as many as you get. Is that a correct one?
No, see, if you are confident, of delivery, I told you about the lady for the school, okay? And I was capable of delivering and giving her what she wanted. So I always say that there is nothing like if you have to create and give something nice, okay,
Right,
and appropriate, you should be able to do it from anything and any amount, any material, and in any time. And if you are capable, then why should you refuse? If you are not capable, then you say, somebody will say, "No, I can't do the job." If I'm capable and I can do it and I can feel that I'll do it better, why should I refuse? And I have the capability, so I don't refuse.
Is it also to do with a lot of the, is it that you're a workaholic? I mean, you're a self-proclaimed workaholic as well. Is that correct?
I think I feel, sometimes I feel sorry for a lot of people who say that I'm a workaholic and all that. To me, it's a way of life. I feel that I enjoy my work, and I am one of the lucky guys whose hobby has become a profession. When I was a small kid in my boarding school, I never used to be studying, and I was always drawing, designing forts, designing guns, designing bikes. And from that day, once my teacher had told me when I was in the third standard, "You're a useless student. You're not studying. You're not doing anything." And she gave me fatafat wax. But she told me, "Remember, when you grow up, become an architect." Okay. So it's my hobby. So I don't feel that I'm working. I don't feel that I'm a workaholic. I'm just leading a nice life. Somebody can say, "Oh, I'm playing golf all the time and enjoying and sitting in a club." That's what I'm doing. I am enjoying.
Hafeez ji, you won't believe this is exactly, I mean, I'm not a patch on you, but this is exactly what I think when a lot of people say, "Oh, you're working all the time. When do you get time to follow your hobby?" And I say, "Well, I'm sorry, but this is my hobby, or this is one of my hobbies." So when I get tired, then I work and it helps. So I hear the same sentiment, and I obviously hear, suddenly am a absolute proponent of the same thing. So thank you so much for saying this. Having said that, I think I'm absolutely happy to have on our show somebody who's experienced you firsthand. You've actually built each other in a certain way, and if I'm not wrong, good friends as well. Here is Dr. Niranjan Hirandani. I've had you on the show, sir. Thank you so much for coming in today to be here. And I thought it was a fantastic moment to put you on screen and you to talk about, who better to talk about Hafeez ji than you.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Manish. Hi, Hafeez. Happy birthday to you.
Hi.
Wonderful to be on a show together with you, which is all around you, you and you. It's so beautiful to see that happen. You deserve it all.
Thank you.
You
Thank
deserve more than what you have got. You needed a Padma Vibhushan, not just a Padma Bhushan. So really fantastic job that you have been doing all this life. We're like brothers. In fact, I think my brother Surendra has spent half his life in Hafeez's office. At some point of time, they were wondering whether they were actually partners in crime. But nevertheless, I think they did very good work together. So it's been fantastic. Hafeez is an icon. He is a voracious architect who just produces wonderful work minute to minute. He's, as Deepak Gorodia just mentioned, he's extremely quick. He's extremely creative, and he is humble to the core.
Right.
It's shocking. Sometimes he may have spent weeks and months on creating a design. We go into a meeting and I say, well, but somehow I don't like this. What do you think? And the moment he sees that, I don't know how much labor he has put into it, he and his team has put into it. He'll sit down on the table with us and then he will recreate everything. This is a humility quality which no great architect that I know of will ever have. That humbleness to be able to say that, okay, I'm going to try one thing again because I want to make you happy about the whole matter. This is humility in the ultimate of a professional who's willing to do that. I think very few professionals who have achieved successes continue to be humble as Hafeez Contractor is. So humbleness personified, Mr. Hafeez Contractor, creative personified, Mr. Hafeez Contractor, hardworking, which is mentioned. I certify that hardworking of his willingness to grow great distances, adaptive. And I think that part of the adaptation to a person is a quality, again, very few people have. I know what creations that he had done 35 years ago with us, created Beach Classic, then again, we talked about Lake Castle, and then the subsequent creation. But very few people are willing at an older age or after a lifespan to further adapt. The other day he telephoned me. I have created, Niranjan, a design which will give you more carpet area of your buildings in the next lot of buildings that I can do. Can I come and see you? Now, can you imagine this man now talking to me over the phone and telling me, can I come over and see you to show you a better creative design than the 100 buildings that we have made together? So that is the kind of creative, hardworking, adaptive, personal person, and of course, a very, very pleasing person to sit around and talk with and be with and ultimately work with. So all that is there. And very true that we have grown together, and I'm very proud of him, and we look upon him very much to do all creative work, which is fantastic, which is there, and very proud of him. I wish him well all the time, and the entire team, which is there. And I'm glad that you have chosen him to come over there. I'm happy to speak about him and say what a wonderful person he is. And I wish you well, Manish, for calling him here today. All the best.
Absolutely our pleasure. In fact, we did ask some of the hardened fans of the show who they wanted next, and every time when we asked, his name came in the top 5 for sure. Every time we asked. But ladies and gentlemen, I must tell this to you, and I don't know how much time I can take off Niranjan Bhai. But you know what? Those of you who are fans of Bollywood, I'm sure you've seen Sholay. You know of Salim Javed. Ladies and gentlemen, you cannot in the real estate segment get better and bigger than this. 2 of the Salim Javeds of this world, writers, architects, in this case, literally, of some of the biggest stories are here right in front of us on the same screen. And it's so overwhelming for all of us as Play Dialogues. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Niranjanji. I don't know whether you have any more parting shots for him, but I'm so glad that you came on the show. and you're a part of this.
I can take the whole next 1 hour, which I won't. So I
Oh,
leave now.
I can leave it to you. I'm sure you'll do a much better job.
No. It won't be from us. Please. I'm very happy to say what I have said. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Salim Javed, and while one of them does take a little backseat, we continue with Hafeez Bhai. And Hafeez Bhai, there are lots and lots of your fans wishing you at this moment a very happy birthday. I know that you're not looking at the chat window right now, but lots of them have written to me here on the phone. Lots of them, I'm sure, are writing to you at this moment. But there are so many fans that you've got, in spite of speaking it out, the truth, the way you thought it was always. Okay, I'll take this to another place, this conversation, and before we go on to the next section, Hafeez Bhai, in fact, you are one of the very few people who can neutrally tell. Other builders have a bastion, so somebody will have Mumbai, or somebody will have Delhi or Bhubaneswar, or Jaipur or Chennai. Which city do you think you like building best? I'm sure it'll be Bombay a bit because it's your hometown. But which is the city where you really, really like building, or you really like the builders of, or you like the culture of? Would love to know.
There's no, it's really futile to even ask.
Okay.
Bombay, Mumbai, Amchi, Mumbai. Nothing else.
Okay. Nothing else. Is it also to do with your minimalism?
I beg your pardon?
Is it also to do with your love with minimalism, where in the least, the most efficient, and that's what it is? Is that to do with that?
Whatever it is, Mumbai might be a smaller city compared to Delhi. Okay, people are different, but people are much more open. Not like Delhiites who are in a different world.
Okay.
Mumbai is a fabulous place. It's absolutely cosmopolitan, and people are really frank, to the point, and that is what I like the most.
Fantastic. So, ladies and gentlemen, we already know that the Mumbai boy obviously likes Mumbai most. So that's fantastic. Thank you so much on that part. And before I go on to the second section, we are already pretty late on the first section because there's so much to talk. But I want to know, is there somebody besides you? And this is a frank conversation I need from you. Is there somebody besides you love the work of, who's contemporary in a way, who's worked, who's not you, and you love the work of?
See, I'll be very frank. Yes, I like a lot of work of a lot of architects, and a lot of architects would say, "Oh, I like a particular kind of a work only."
Okay.
To me, it's not like that.
Right.
I like works of Norman Foster. I like works of some very, very young architects whom I don't even know in India. And he has done something very nice and creative. And I like his work. It's not always that a large job and somewhere, where somebody has spent crores of rupees has to be a better job, and you have to admire that. Somewhere you did not have any scope. You did not have much of budget, nothing. But somebody has created, and you like it. And it's just not that I like buildings. I like fashion. I like jewelry. I like sculpture, painting, and each of that really gives you a different way of looking at things. And what is going to be there in architecture? Architecture, anything that is going to come in architecture is going to come later. First, it is going to come in painting, sculpture, fashion, jewelry. All that gives the thought for how things are going to be in the next decade. And I look at that. I admire that. And what I like, I put it in my practice.
Wonderful. One last question on this round. And the question is pretty simple. Hafeez Bhai, who are the community that you find most difficult to work with? So you worked with politicians, you worked with bureaucrats, you worked with, we've worked with celebrities, Bollywood celebrities. You worked with, of course, builders. You know, who are the most difficult to please, difficult customers, if I may say, in some way? And is there an anecdote related which you could tell us?
See, it's like this, that if somebody comes and says, oh, I'll give you examples of both.
Right.
Once I was working for a politician, and I was supposed to design a school for him. And he says, come and see the site. So I said, okay. So I went to his hometown, and he took me in his jeep.
Right.
And he's showing me, and he's suddenly stopping. And I said, where is the site? Which is the site? She said, jitna dikhta hai, वहां से जितना इधर दिखता है, जितना इधर दिखता है, वो मेरा site है. So I said, my God. Okay. Then I said, what's your budget? Budget, jo man chahe banao. That was one client. Okay. And I couldn't do anything. I was just looking at him, and I said, he's saying, where is the site? And he's just giving me the whole horizon. I said, what is the budget? He's giving me the whole horizon. I know, unlimited budget. Now I'll tell you another client. Okay. You know, that's a very old story. Once, it was at the time of land sealing. And I hope this client is watching this program. I'll be very happy if he's watching. So he was a young man. He came to me, being a Marwadi, very much, onto calculations and all that.
100%.
And at that time, the land ceiling was there, and 80 square meter flats were supposed to be made.
Right.
So he's saying that I bought this site and this, and land ceiling, you have to make 80 square meter flats. And I said, very good, very good. I was very enthusiastic. And so then he's telling me, Hafeez bhai, I want all my rooms, so much by so much, so much by so much. So I said, very good, very good, very good, without thinking. Because I was, and as usual, I'm very enthusiastic about it. So, and then living room 20 by 20 hona chahiye. I said, very good, very good. But suddenly I was just looking at it, and I said, oh my God, if the room sizes are so much by so much, okay, and the living room is 20 by 20, this itself will go more than 80 square meters. So I told him, I won't like to mention his name. I'll say it, okay, chalo. I said, Kirti, this itself goes more than 80 square meters. So he's looking at it, me, and smiling, and said, Arey Raja, dimag laga na ho jayega tere se. How the hell I can defeat arithmetic? So he said, dimag laga. And I'm talking to myself in my mind, and I said, oh my God, what is this guy trying to do? How can I defeat 2 plus 2 is 4? But I made all my rooms curvilinear. So it's a rectangle, 10 by 12, 120. Okay, I cut off the triangle, I take off the area, 20 by 20 bedroom, this living room, I cut it from one side. 1/4 of it is gone. And I gave him the same room sizes. I say the same living room size. And I gave him the flat in 80 square meters. And you can go and see that building at Goregaon. Meghmalar was made like that. So, more difficult, better, something new is going to come about. And if guy says, take this, the constraints give you a creativity.
100%, yes.
So there's nobody who is really difficult. Everybody is a genuine guy who has got constraint. And that's why, he's into a real world. That's reality. And that constraints gives me, and you become a different man, and a different creativity comes out.
Yes, I gather 3 things from this. One, that if you want the best out of Hafeez Contractor, give him a challenge. Two, a Marwadi can get the best out of Hafeez Contractor any which way.
Of course, of course.
I happen to be one. No offense meant out there.
No. You know, I always say, Marwadi, Sindhis are my first clients, and I salute them. And I learned a lot from them. I learned a lot from the way to think, you know, about how money is going here, there, everything. And that's what reality. And if you don't think about that, you're a dead man.
100%. And the third one is coming at the end of the show, guys. So please hold on if you're still curious about it, but it will come in because it is related to one of the questions that I'm going to ask the great Hafeez Contractor as we move on to the second part, which is You Talk. You Talk is all about when you let your jacket go, which he's not wearing right now, but when you can talk about yourself. Now, in this case, I have a very interesting personality because he is who he is at work and otherwise. So a lot of people, as he said, love playing golf, and that's their downtime. His downtime is work. So difficult, but I'll still ask a couple of questions there, Hafeez bhai. Also, given the time, so I will hurry up. Was architecture your first love at all, or did you want to pursue something else? I mean, if you were not an architect, well, who would you be?
No. First of all, I always wanted to be an architect, but getting a very low percentage at SSC, nobody was even willing to give me a form. So with the help of my cousin, I could get a letter from Mr. Dallas, who introduced me to Mr. Wandrekar, and who allowed me to appear for an entrance exam.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I went into architecture. Otherwise, I was going to join the army.
That's right here.
I had a letter from Khadakwasla to come for, and I was going to join the army. My aunt tore off that letter, never told me. So I was going to join the police force. And when I was going, my mother requested me that, okay, you do your graduation and then join the police force. So I was learning French. And when I was learning French from my cousin's wife, I saw an architect drawing a window detail and I could find a fault in it. So when my cousin came to office, he says, how do you know? I said, I know it. This has been my pastime. So he asked me to draw a window detail, which I drew. My abbreviations were different, but they were correct. Then he asked me to design a house. I designed a house. Then he drew an extonometric, which I never knew that it's an extonometric. But I said, it's from top. I drew it. So he told me, stop everything, join architecture today. And I joined his office before I joined the college. And then it was never looking back.
Wow.
When he was in the office, I was his assistant. When he was not there, I was the boss. When the peon was not there, I was the peon. When the kachrawali was not there, I was the kachrawala. So I was all in all, and I enjoyed it. Every moment, every hour, I enjoyed it.
So ladies and gentlemen, moving forward in this one, let me now present a small little video of somebody who's not just a cousin, but also the first employer of this employer of all times for architects. Let's have Mr. Kharegat's video, please.
Hafeez is my first cousin, and in his college days, he was staying with us in this house, and my mother was just like his mother. Initially, when he passed off and finished his college, he had a great flair of joining the army. And we all tried to change his mind towards that, being an only son, and I found that he always had a lot of creativity in him. So I suggested he join architecture. So with that, he got an admission in the academy, and he spent all his college years working in my office with me. I used to take him with me wherever I went, and we always had a small office, and he was always fond of making very large drawings, and he used to love what he did. That was the main thing. And he loved what he did. And I think for about 5 or 6 years, he was with me in my office, helping me in my designs. Later on, he went to America. He came back again and worked with me. And everybody was wondering in this small office what a lot of work we did. And we used to work so fast. Many architects used to come to our office to see how with a small office we could manage such a lot of work. The most important thing is that he loved what he did. And that is the most beautiful part of him. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the first employer and the cousin. Hafeez, you have something to say on this?
No. I learned everything from him. I learned, the way he used to deal with clients, talk to them. And from the first day, he used to say, pay your taxes well. And I remember the first job we had got, that was, Hindustan Aeronautics. And in those days, our fees were going to be 3,50,000. And everyone, we had some few clients at that time. So everybody was calculating,
right,
you'll have to pay so much tax, so much this. And I feel that he is my real guru. He has taught me a lot. He has helped me a lot. And he has put me in the right direction. I have few guys like that who have helped me, and he's one of them.
And Hafeez, there's a specific episode, I believe, the window episode. Do you think you can tell us that episode? It's an interesting one.
No, the window. I just told you that when I was at his office,
yeah,
I used to from and I.
Sorry, we are losing your voice. I don't know whether it's just me or everybody.
One architect window detail. Because I was really not interested in French. When I had no work, I was looking at all the drawing boards, and I told him that this window won't open. And so he thought that who the hell I am.
Right.
So he said, what do you know about it? We had a bet. So when Temas came back, I told Temas, I said, Temas, don't you think that window won't open? He says, yeah, you're right. Then he asked me, how the hell do I know? So I said, this has been my pastime. I have been playing with it. And in my school days, I had a friend who is still my friend. We used to compete. And I would design and he would design. And we would put both the designs and we will have a competition. Whose design is better? He will design a bike, I will design a bike, he will design a tank, I would design a tank. And then we would compete. So it was all in my DNA. And when I first went to architectural college and they were teaching, I said, oh my God, this is called elevation. And I used to say, when you look at it from front, and this is called a section. Oh, when you cut it, it looks like that. Mm-hmm. So I used to be doing all that. It was just that when I was put in the college, I learned it formally.
I get it. In fact, Hafeez, there is so much to catch up on. And I have what you could call an indecent proposal to make right in front of about 200 odd people here. This is the first time I'm doing that, and this is hopefully the last time. But I really want to do one thing while we have another 5 minutes to go. Could I request that we continue this episode in the next one and you give us one more day, because there is so much to know from you. I know of the episodes that I want to talk about. I know the people that I want to talk about. Is it at all good to have you next Saturday as well? I know I'm asking for too much.
No, but I'm happy if talking to me, somebody listens and learns from it and it does him good. I'm very happy.
Wow, wonderful.
Whatever you feel like.
I'm getting lots of these messages, and that's what I'm responding to. So, ladies and gentlemen, so the good part is that we have a double episode with Hafeez Contractor, which was never planned before, and I promise you that. And he's been ever so gracious to agree. But before we go, I have somebody to bring on, right away, and that somebody happens to be very, very close, and it's a very interesting relationship. The relationship is that of a spouse.
I'm not able to listen.
Sorry, Hafeez, can you hear me? So the relationship is that of a spouse as well as a colleague. May I request Mrs. Pearl Contractor to please join Hafeez for about 3 or 4 minutes before we close the show, and we bring it back again next week. So can we have her again here, please? I know it's a little bit of a change, production team, but it's fun. Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am, for finally relenting and agreeing to join. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, we are. Thank you.
So wonderful to have you here. And while we had all these great men talk about the great man sitting next to you, we thought we'll call you for the real picture. We thought because you're a colleague and because, of course, you're the wife, you'll tell us the real story. And we thought we wanted to know what is the chink in the armor? What do we need to know about Hafeez, which nobody else knows and is a tight secret, but a bombastic one? We really would like to know from you.
There's nothing hidden about.
It's as straightforward as that?
Yes, Manish, it really is as straightforward as that. His life is an open book, and he sits on that open table, and at home our life is equally open. So there really is nothing special. There's no chink in the armor. There's nothing hidden from anybody.
Okay, so let me ask another question, and that one leads on to the question, the answer that you gave. So it's a very interesting relationship. At home, you are spouse, and at office, your colleague. Do you think that sometimes conflicts? Do you think that sometimes adds on? And do you also think that takes away your personal time a lot, many times, when you would like to actually, have a husband home, you actually have a colleague home? Does that happen?
At work, he's the boss.
Okay.
And I work for him and everybody else at AHC, whether it's our internal family or our client family. It's his organization. It's what he's built, and I do whatever I can to keep that as best possible. At home, obviously, we've realized that we try not to bring work home.
She's the boss.
Yeah. Every man says that, right?
Yeah, that's our way to protect our territory.
Yes, and every wife likes to believe that. But since we live together and we're both designers, then somebody has to kind of take over a bit more about the home space. So yeah, I do that, and whatever other wifely duties are expected. So yeah, that's how it is. And very early along the way, I tried to maintain that I don't bring work home.
Okay.
But now with this work from home condition, everything's out of the window. So it's very hard, and it's very hard to live and work out of the same space, which I guess everybody's facing.
Yes, a part of that is we invaded your home today. So all my colleagues are there, and I guess, having fun with all of you. So that's an interesting one. Ma'am,
Yes.
so tell me, if I'm not wrong, Hafeez, you were 41 when you got married?
I think so, yeah.
So you're following Parsi tradition, right? It's not like, it is late marriages typically. So at 41, was it a big fat Parsi wedding, or was it a very simple one, or how did it go, and how did you get to know each other?
Nice wedding, not very fat, not very slim. Good.
That's like hedging. That's a good one. Okay.
No,
But how did you get to know each other? I really wanted to know that one. And was there an interesting story out there?
No, really. A wedding is a wedding. I was working in the office up to about 4 o'clock. I just wore my suit in the office, went for the wedding, and that's it. And a lot of people were surprised that, and so what is a wedding? It's just two people joining together and leading a life. That's it.
Ma'am, was it the same for you? Was it okay for you?
No, I did take more time to get ready for sure. But the one thing that I did hear a lot of, because obviously I was meeting a lot of people for the first time ever, was that a lot of people came saying, we came to see who managed to hook this confirmed bachelor. And I was quite taken aback at that. But now, of course, everybody's a dear friend. So it's good.
Fantastic. Tell me one thing, ma'am. What has changed for the better in the Hafeez of 41 and the Hafeez of 71?
Oh,
you can't take too much time for this.
I think we've managed to communicate better. He used to be a man of much fewer words, and he used to only do hand actions. And over the years, especially now over this COVID period, he's realized how to communicate on video and give lectures and things like that. So he's learned how to express himself a lot better over the years.
Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the first time that Clay Dialogues will be doing a double episode with somebody as legendary, of course, and it deserves to be, with as a person as legendary as Mr. Hafeez Contractor. So please do come back, and we have something more to show you, so don't go away yet. But please do come back. Please bring in your friends, whoever wants to hear and talk about and to the legendary Hafeez Contractor. We have lots of stories to tell you. I have episodes that I can talk about. We have controversies to discuss. We have fantastic things that he has built to discuss, and so on and so forth. But before we go, Hafeez, while I'm thanking you, but I also wanted to show you two things. One, I wanted to thank the team behind this entire thing. And thank you, ma'am. Yes, before you go, thank you so much. Thank you for being and finally agreeing to be a part of the show. But I must thank, along with that, my team at Clay and Alchemist, who have been so relentlessly working with me. I get to share all the spotlight. But here's the team which really works hard. Farhan and Ashwin, both of them are there right now as we speak at Sir's Place. Rishi, Mayur, Renuka, Ashwin, Joanne, Ranjit, Ameya, Ritesh, and of course, there are others who've kind of contributed in patches. Upasana, Anandita, Mandar, Kalpesh, Shivam, Osaf, Akshay, and many others in Alchemist. But as I say that, I also want to today pick and talk about somebody who's very young and extremely passionate, and somebody I really, really admire for the youth and the energy that he brings. Ashwin Nair, who's right there with you, sir, at this moment, one of our wonderful boys. He's moving on for another journey very, very soon. But thank you, Ashwin, for being playing the role in Clay Dialogues that you've played so far. And I really want to salute your parents and your family for bringing up such a fine kid. While we do that, the next thing that we want to show you, Hafeez, is a small trip down the memory lane with some of the pictures that you are a part of in your years. Let's have that and we'll quickly come back. Those of you who want to know more about Hafeez, there is so much more to tell. I have stories about how he got an entire Jahangir art gallery to himself and his work, while the others got small little, coupes out there to work. in his early days, and it's not now, much earlier, much before when he was a star, and many other such episodes, including some juicy gossip from his past, which I'm sure he'll share now, which will be the next episode. So thank you so much, guys. See you next Saturday, 4 o'clock, right here, back with none other than Padma Bhushan, Hafeez Contractor. Thank you so much. Please take care of yourself till then. See you next Saturday, 4 o'clock sharp. Taken up large parts of our country, and while the fear of Delta Plus and the third wave consumes some bit of our mind, the current COVID cases are down to bare minimum. Now, this is all great news. As I hear and experience, the pent-up demand in the real estate sales are opening up again too. In fact, today's newspaper seems unusually heavy with advertising. Interestingly, the Times of India today in two of the India's largest cities, Delhi and Mumbai, happen to have Alchemist clients on the top. So there's more for us to look forward to. Guys, it's a busy time for us. Most of the others in the industry, busy is good. This one, ladies and gentlemen, is a special episode. One, because Clay Dialogues completes 1 year of being the first and only surviving talk show on real estate icons. And the second, the episode is a concluding part of a conversation that automatically became so wide that we had to make it the first ever double header or a dual episode in the Clay Dialogues history. So happy birthday to Clay Dialogues. Happy birthday to all of you. And yes, the last time we did celebrate the happy birthday, 71st one of our guest of today. Who we had last and we continue with today is someone who clearly is the only relevant brand in the industry he represents. He has one of the biggest accolades to put as a prefix before his name. Boys and girls in the industry that builds, welcome on screen, the one who gave you the designs to build on. Padma Bhushan, architect, Hafeez Contractor. Let's have the video on, please. Everyone say a hello and a big hello to Hafeez. And Hafeez, thanks a million to have so humbly and easily agreed to be on the second episode in a row. While you were kind enough, I was wondering if given this, we have postponed, we've taken away your time and have postponed some developer's dream, getting it shaped by maybe a day. I hope not. Are you good, Hafeez? All well with you, sir? Can't hear you. I think somebody will have to adjust the voice.
Hi, everybody.
We can hear you now. Hi.
Yeah.
Okay, Hafeez, last time we did spend a lot of time discussing shop with you. There is so much more to do besides that today also. And so our episode, unlike usually when we have those sections, will I think go in a free-willy way till the time we get on to the open house where we ask others to ask questions. And please, ladies and gentlemen, feel free to write your questions in the Q&A section, and we'll be glad to take up more of them today now that we have more time. And then we will go on to my favorite one, which is called Rapid Conversations. And we hope to nab some bit of Hafeez out there. Okay, so there we go. Hafeez, my first question today, I think you like the question. You're a big admirer, propagator, and visionary of the concept of a home for every Indian, or a house for every Indian, if I may say so. We want to know your story of the thought, the challenges, the possibilities around the same, because I think a lot of people have shared the vision, but somewhere along it still looks like miles and years or decades away. Where are we on House for Every Indian?
See, this house for every Indian, is something which is very, very dear to me. And it really starts with me personally. When I came to Mumbai, I stayed with my cousin for 1 or 2 years because I never had a house. Then my mother came, and I and my mother used to live in one-room kitchen. And that's how we started. Uh, I couldn't get married to anybody because in those days you could not get anything on rent. You had to pay a large pagri, and that is how I started my life. And for years and years and years, I was very lucky. Uh, though I was working with my cousin for a long time, but afterwards when I separated, I was very lucky that one very nice client of mine, Mr. Mundra, gave me office free of charge. And he says that, okay, when I tell you to vacate, you vacate. And I said, okay. When you ask me to vacate, it must be you must be wanting to sell it. So he said, yeah, so will you give me the first option? So that I was very lucky to get an office free of charge. Though I paid later. But for a house, I had to earn, and then I bought a house by the time I was 41. And you know, it is, and when you go and see some slums and see that they are all very normal people, and the only thing is that the prices of houses are so high that nobody can afford to buy it. And that has led me to work on this. And this is a very, very dear topic to me. In fact, today morning also, I had just gone to Thana and I had a long meeting with people and bureaucrats and all of them, and how to give house at a very economic rate. Okay, now that is one angle. The other angle is that we are talking about, you know, our country is one of the most, second most populated country in the world. We are about 1.3 billion, and if you go on a Google or anywhere, every second, you know, the population is increasing. And we want to be a superpower, we want to compete in the world. But if you really go to see, the biggest infrastructure, we keep on talking about, you know, infrastructure.
Yeah.
The biggest infrastructure to me, yes, power, roads, everything is there. But the biggest infrastructure, as far as I'm concerned, and I feel that is very, very genuine, is housing. If you look at 1.3 billion, how many people we are deploying in our country to work? How many people are giving their time in work? If you go, take the population, I would say more than half of our population, or more than 65% of our population, do not have proper housing. And when they don't have proper housing, either the electricity is not proper, drainage is not proper, water supply is not proper. Okay, so he's getting up early morning, and that takes up so much of the time of our working population. And if we were to give them proper housing, forget how much of problem it creates in health, time loss, all of that. If you were to give proper housing, appropriate, not I'm saying luxurious housing, our country will have so many working hours more.
Correct.
And that will get us to the forefront. And that will make us a superpower. Now, that is the first thing. Second thing is Now, is it possible to do this? Yes, it is possible. What is lacking? We have all the resources, we have everything. Decisions are lacking. And
it's a plague in a lot of systems, but yeah.
And you will be surprised. We have drawn out plans. But then it gets, oh, this goes in this ministry and that goes in that ministry, and this guys will not take a decision. This goes in center and this goes in state. We have made presentations and presentations. And the trouble is that why do we have this kind and we are just getting entangled. We need housing. How much a man can afford? Today, if you say you're going to give a house for 1 crore and so many lakhs, that is not that is not an average Indian or a person who wants a house. He wants a house in 20 lakhs. He wants a house in 30 lakhs. Below 50 lakhs,
sure.
He has to be given a house. And I would say that your main aim should be, you should give house at 10 lakhs, 12 lakhs. And that, if the government gets up and the government is little bit wanting to do it, it is possible.
So please, I understand the issue of the will. So let's talk straight. Is it that just like Prime Minister wanted Swachhata Abhiyan to happen and it got some success, do you think there's a lack of will at the top end to actually execute the same?
We had a presentation to some of the top guys in government, in the center, and this is a very nice idea.
Right.
But housing is a state problem. Now, yes, okay, fine, but then do something about it. When you go, it's see, I'm dealing with it virtually every day. I'm dealing with, small guys, big guys, and it is what we need to do. Okay, from my side, we are doing it, and I am meeting people, and I hope that we will be successful. And we have drawn out plans for at different levels. We have drawn out plans at the level of Mumbai, sorry. We have drawn out plans at the country level. And you will be surprised to hear this kind of a line that I say that today the wealth of our lies in slums. It's how you redevelop the slums. It's how you put that slum land to use.
So there is an interesting thing around this. In fact, it's doing the rounds around. You're talking about how people build slums. There's no permission required. But the moment it's about affordable housing in slums, there are so many question marks. There are so many obstacles on the way. Where is it going? I mean, is it at all happening, or is it just a thing that we hope will happen someday?
No. The slum redevelopment policy, when it started, at the time when Mr. Balasaheb Thackeray was there, and it was me along with one or two guys who had gone to him, and we proposed that scheme. And a lot of other people were saying, Balasaheb nako kara. And Balasaheb only was firm and says, my karai chahiye hai. And it got implemented. Okay. Now with that, thousands and thousands and lakhs of people have got free houses. Okay, fine. There's a lot of criticism that this has led to this and that and that. Okay, but today what I am proposing is a completely different scheme. Yes, we had so much of problem. How the slum people are in so much of land, and the sale person is in so much of land. Today the formula is completely different, and it is the way we have proposed the slum housing is going to be better than the most affluent housing that you can ever see, and everyone will get a house. Not only that, it will regenerate renewable energy. So that it's a completely different thing, and it's doable. We have the land, we have the resources. We only need government, one department and another department coming together and saying, let's do this for our people. That's about all.
So, Hafeez, is it only to do with bureaucracy and government, or is there some other role also not being played? For example, developers, builders. Is it something else as well?
No. It's nothing to do with developers, builders, and it's nothing to do with, the government also has got certain laws. Each one functions in a particular manner.
Sure.
And to have something implemented on this kind of a scale and idea, you need somebody really big to take the initiative.
Okay. Hafeez, yeah, got it. Hafeez, connected with this issue is this whole thing about you being a chief propagator of cities growing vertically rather than laterally. I mean, that's a big thing that you talk about, and a lot of people, in fact, do put a reverse view on the place where,
Okay.
and that's a valid view. I just wanted to understand from you, what's your view of actually making vertical cities? Is it how different it's going to be economically? Is it viable, and so on and so forth. Also, second, before we go on to that question, sorry, I forgot to ask. I don't know about the house for every Indian. 100% of it happening. I don't know when that's going to happen. But when do you think we'll be at 80% level? 80%
It will
level.
happen.
Give me
A
a
house
date.
for every Indian will happen.
Give me a date, Hafeez, in your best estimation. A date
It will happen. See, one just can't say when it will happen, but it will happen. And see, I have a lot of faith in our country. Whatever it is, government working this way, that way. But it's, we have to have, it's not a dictatorship, so that everyone has got an assigned track that, you have to do things in this way. So they are doing it. Now we want to do something really big, then, everybody has to come together. So there are problems, okay, but they will get solved and it will happen. Okay, now to answer your question about going high rise. Now, see, it's not just, we are not some Middle Eastern country that we just want to show off and say that, I made the tallest building and I made the biggest building and all. High rise, look at, what is happening today in the world. Everyone knows there's a climate change, global warming. We are, all the world leaders are having meetings after meetings. Okay?
Right.
Everyone wants to reduce fossil fuel, use of fossil fuel. Everybody wants to increase green cover. We ourselves, India also has agreed in the Paris Accord that we will increase our green cover. Okay. Now, if you look at our population, if you look at how much of land we have, we in India have something like 10 to 11% in urban areas.
Right.
whereas every other country, most of the country, has 3 to 4%. We have 55% in agricultural and rural. We have something like 24% is in forest.
Right.
And out of which some 10 to 11 only is really in actual forest. Other is designated forest, but there is not a single tree over there. We have said that we will increase our forest cover by some, to some 30%. I might be forgetting, some figures here and there, but I'm just telling you. Now, how the hell are we going to increase from 24 to some 34? Are we going to reduce agriculture? Yes. We are jolly well, we are just gobbling farmland and increasing, this city and that city and all that kind of stuff. Okay. We cannot reduce our water cover and wetland. So what are we going to do? And finally, ours is a growing population. Ours is a young population. We are eating more. We are wasting more food. Okay. Where are we going to grow?
Right.
So the only way you cannot grow food in the sky, but at least we can live in the sky. Okay, go vertical. We are talking about mass transportation and everything, unless and until we have dense cities. Okay, we will be making good use of land. We will be saving on transportation. We will be saving on use of fossil fuel, everything. So you have to have condensed, dense, high, and leave land for green cover, agriculture. Okay, increase your forest. That is what has to be done. So I'm not proposing that you go high to show how big is your ego. Okay, I'm saying for a necessity. It's a necessity.
Sure.
And if we do not do that, see, ours is one of the last generation who can do something about climate change. And if we don't do it in the next few years, we will be on a downturn, and you cannot stop it. And then our younger generation will tell us that you crazy guys, you never took care of our environment, and now see what you have left us with. Do you want to do that? I don't think we should do that.
So what are the chief issues around the idea? What do people fight most on that? People say that we are talking about an ugly urbanization rather than beautification of cities. People talk about how it's killing of art, how it's killing of the way of living, and so on and so forth. What would be your defense to that?
No. Come on. See, there are certain things that has been taught wrongly that you just go vertical is a bad thing. Vertical, you don't live properly. No. There is nothing like that. See, you must always do what is really necessary. Do not go by just, this is said like this, so let us do it like this, without thinking. Everything has to be done after a proper thought. And why am I saying go vertical? Why am I saying have condensed and denser cities? Because it's a necessity of the future. We have to have land to grow food. We have to have land to grow our forests, more forests. Increase the green cover. That is a necessity. And we have to provide housing. We have to provide place where people will work, where people will play. All of that can be in a denser place.
Hafeez, are you also saying that we have lesser cities? I mean, we don't build more cities, but the same cities get more and more people? Or should we build more cities?
That will be the best thing. If I was the guy who would be taking a decision like that, I would say, first of all, okay, where is water? Maximum water.
Correct.
I would make 5-6 large cities which are, say 30, 40 million. And because with that, the opportunity for people to have jobs, opportunity of people to live together, everything would be much better.
Okay.
And not to have small houses everywhere. You go everywhere, row houses, small, they are just eating up land and not making proper 100% use of the land.
Okay.
You have to preserve land and put it to the right purpose.
I get that. I'm going to take a little deviation now from this line of questioning into some other. So how proud, and it may be a little bit of an odd question to ask, how proud of you are of the name Hafeez Contractor being used by developers now to sell, in fact, sell in the name of quality and trust. That my project is being done by Hafeez, so it's quality, it's trust, it's design, and so on and so forth.
I think there is nothing like that people are selling because of name. We every day we are working from morning till night and giving better service to the developer, better service to the client. If somebody can do it in 5 days, we would like to do it in 5 hours.
Right.
If somebody can give in so many square foot, so many square feet of flats, I am giving 10% more flats, more economic building, better understanding of structure, and efficient. So the building is cheaper to make. And after all of that, to make it look good also. That's why, anybody who is coming to us is because of that. Nobody is a fool to just come because, my name is Hafeez Contractor. We are producing and we are giving service. That is what is necessary.
That's quite modest of you, Hafeez, but we have heard that there are two kinds of builders. One who have used Hafeez Contractor, and the second who want to use Hafeez Contractor. Having said that, I want to show at this stage, a video which is of my favorite lady developer personally. She agreed to come on camera. There are few of them in the country. Comes from all the way from Orissa and is a big fan, if I may say, on her behalf. She is a developer. She's known to be one of the best developers in the state. Here it is. Let's have the video on.
Padma Shri Hafeez Contractor. I had heard of architect Hafeez Contractor when I was a student of architecture. When I entered into practice, he was a great inspiration and role model for us. In 2003, I ventured into real estate industry and started traveling to various parts of India and abroad. After my meetings, I take time out to visit different buildings to understand the vocabulary of that particular town or city. Whenever I have passed by the iconic buildings of DLF Cyber City and DLF Aurelias at Gurgaon, Hiranandani Gardens at Powai, Imperial Towers at Tadeo, ITC Grand Central at Mumbai, Sarla Villa Academy at Bangalore, I watch these structures with awe, amazement, and admiration, and I am filled with a sense of joy as I marvel at the expertise, astuteness, and vision of the master architect Hafeez Contractor. He has not only redefined the landscape and built environment of urban India, the height of its buildings, but also has taken the profession into the ultimate height by being a trailblazer, making this a very rewarding profession. This has inspired more and more young students to study architecture. I am an avid reader. Recently, I have read a book titled Becoming Hafeez Contractor, authored by Harshad Bhatia. This book has helped me gain more insight towards his thought process and workings. I think and I recommend each architect and each student of architecture to read this book and take inspiration and learn lessons from his journey. I wish Sir Architect Hafeez Contractor luck in all his future endeavors. Thank you.
Any comments, Hafeez? I know you don't know Ratmala ji, but she's a prominent builder.
I'm really thankful to God that if somebody reads what Arshad wrote up for me, and if somebody can gain something from my work, I am the happiest person. And to be very frank, in everybody's life, we also learned from a lot of people. As a kid, I used to read a lot of the books and see work of Le Corbusier, Mies van der Rohe, and all of them. And life has to go on. Times have changed. What they did and what we are doing today. Today, things are in a different way, and we in India, it's completely different. How you look at architecture is different. What is good over here, there are many things, but I'm really happy, and I would like to thank the lady and say thank you very much.
Amazing. So, I want to take a cue on this one and talk about the book. Arshad has written this book, and a lot of people have read it. And I believe it's something that most architects like to read some point in time or the other. What is your favorite portion of the book, Hafeez, if I may ask? Which part is it that you found it fantastic? Well written?
You will be shocked. I have not read the book.
What?
I haven't read that book. I'll tell you why. And when it was written also, Arshad just came and talked to me, and I said, see, I'm not going to tell you, okay, write this or write that.
Okay.
What you feel about me, what you know about me, you talk to people, whatever it is, and write the book. If I were to tell him that you please write this or write that, then what is the sense? Then, I might have should have written that book.
So nobody read it from your side, Hafeez?
My wife read it. Certain dates which were not correct, she would tell me that this is so that's fine. But otherwise, it has to be a very honest book, and I should not be forcing the writer, please write like this. Then it's not really depicting.
I think I absolutely agree with you. Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's allowing somebody to do what they want, and especially professionals like you would probably do that the most, because you would also not like interference in your work. Why would you want somebody else to be interfered on? So I completely agree, and thank you for that one. With that book, and otherwise also what we have heard, Hafeez, and I touched upon this thing last time when we met. You're known to be a very admired but a very tough boss, and tough in various ways, in the way you talk, but more importantly, the way you work. So you set an example, and it seems like anybody who leaves before dinner, it's not a done thing in your office. Now, is that correct, or is that a wrong accusation whatsoever?
No, it's not that. Yes, I expect people that they should be interested in their work.
Right.
And once you're interested in your work, you enjoy working. Once you enjoy working, you work more number of hours.
Yep.
From say 10 to 6 are the working hours for people who are coming to work.
Right.
But people who are enjoying, there is nothing like which hour you should work. In my office, to be very frank, for so many years, there was nothing like when you come, when you leave, whether you're working on Monday to Friday or whether you work, it's absolutely open. And today also, people go down, have a stroll. Some of my guys go for a walk in the evening, come back, work late. We are only concerned with not number of hours. We are concerned with work. And if he likes working and if he enjoys working, then he'll be producing something nice. And that's what we want. And he'll be a happier man. And that is still a much, much better thing.
Wonderful. Those of you aspiring to work with Hafeez, I believe we have a couple of people who are in the world of architecture, just getting in. If you want to work, you have to work as hard as is what we believe, and then which will be a proof for, if I may say, your liking or realizing that this job is fantastic. I want to move on to a video that we want to show you, Hafeez. This belongs to one of your people who work with you, a person who was worked many years, and there is a very interesting story coming up. So let's see the video, please.
Oh, very good. Who is this?
Wish you a very happy birthday, my boss, my mentor, my colleague, my friend. Wishing you all happiness, health, and more wealth, and many, many, many more projects. So you and me and everyone in the office is very, very, very busy. I know you would have rather liked me spend this time working on the projects instead of making this video, but I'll make it up to it, sir. Mr. Contractor is a super human being with supernatural powers. He has a mood on and off switch, which he can manage very conveniently. 1 minute he's annoyingly screaming, and the second minute he's laughing his gut out on a joke. I'm not sure if anyone can do that. He's the only person, I think, who's reverse aging. He only gets tired when there is no work. I'd like to share a quick incident when we were with Neeta Ambani in initial days of the convention center, Reliance Convention Center, and she wasn't happy with the design. So she spoke to Mr. Contractor and Mike from Atlanta that if the two best minds in the world can't resolve this complex design, then who can? And I remember instantly Mr. Contractor got up, took his signature Pentel black pen and drew a sketch. And what we see as the convention center today at BKC is something that he drew that day. Not just that particular project, but many, many, many more projects have been a result of these sketches that he had been drawing over 5 decades now. There's no surprise that the New York Times calls him the man who draws India. And I would like to thank him for making architecture mainstream in India. What the so-called masters of Indian architecture couldn't do all these years, he did it single-handedly. Very many leading architects in Mumbai are product of Hafeez Contractor's office, and I think few better ones like me are still working with him. Wishing you all happiness, sir. Keep inspiring us and keep shaping the world around us. Thank you.
Nishant seems to be good fun, Hafeez. Is he?
Yeah, he is.
Wonderful. But that leads me to the other question. Is I've often wondered, I know that a lot of people say that you draw on the go or you design on the go, especially when challenged. Don't you ever fear that this that you're making out of your fancy at that point in time, thousands of people crores of rupees will be spent behind it, and what if something goes, a small little thing goes wrong here and there? How does it work? I mean, what's the inspiration? How does it work?
See, it is. It's just not that you're doing it just for a fancy.
Sure.
There is, to be surprised, you'll be surprised. I joined college and I started working at the same time.
Right.
So what you see today is years and years of training, practical training, work, coming in contact with thousands and thousands of clients, demanding clients, satisfying them. So today, what comes out is an experience of all of that. As far as construction is concerned, as far as demand and supply is concerned, okay, finance is concerned, okay, what materials are concerned. So you put that in the right context and then design. So it's just not that you're drawing a sketch. You may draw a sketch and just give it to the guy, but it's with all that knowledge and the backup. And what comes out is with that backup. So it's just not a fancy.
Got it. Now, here is, while most people, and we have heard now enough of them, who are enamored by a successful name, we got among the guests some of the biggest developers of the country last time, this time, they're right now watching. However, and Hafeez, I want a straight answer and a very, very frank answer to this. So the name Hafeez Contractor is a lot of controversy, right? There's a lot of controversy around your art, your design, your brand, everything else. So do you agree first that AHC is a controversial brand? And yes, if it is, then is it by design that you sell it? Or is it just to happen? Or is it to do with just you and your frank, straight thought processes? Where is it coming from? That controversy that has underlined most of your career.
See, there is nothing like a controversy. It's just if you just don't do things which is just told to you that, oh, you have to do like this. Right. Okay, if it is the right way of doing it, do it. But if that way is not solving your problem, then you don't do it.
Right.
So the first thing that when I started my practice, I started doing double walls. It was for a reason. Then I started making round windows. Why I started making round windows? It was for a definite reason. Because my toilet was hemmed into two walls and it was coming right at the edge. My structural guy wanted a column over there, and if I had a column, my toilet would not have a ventilation. So what I had learned in my school days, that if I were to have first of all, I gave them a U-shaped column, so it's much stronger than just an L-shaped column. And like a slotted angle, if you make a round opening in a structural element and in a C-shaped column, it will be absolutely appropriate. So my structural engineer, Kamal Hatkar, okay, he was a structural engineer, and he taught me a lot of things, to be very frank, I'll tell you. So everything is to be done for a purpose. So in fact, the first time when I did a round opening, my boss also told me, you gone mad? You're making a round opening like this. Okay. But later on, every architect or a lot of architects are doing round openings. Okay. The first time I had a pitch roof on one of my buildings for a reason. Everything I am doing is for a reason. And the reason is to satisfy a purpose. So with that, I don't know why should there be any controversy?
When I say controversy, I mean there are people who are absolute followers, and there are people who are retractors. They say that it's not great art. It's actually very basic and so on and so forth, which I'm sure you're aware of. that people say. So the question is it clearly efficiency over art or design? Is that what you follow? The need versus wants?
No.
Okay.
What is architecture? Architecture encompasses everything. It is art, it is efficiency, it is constructability, it is finance, it is sociology, it is everything in one package. Sometimes something will be more, sometimes something else will be more, but everything has to be there, and that is architecture. And that to me is architecture.
Okay.
And if you do not, if you just look at trying to make a building which is just an art, then people will say, yeah, it's nice to look at, but functionality-wise, it is not working. Price-wise, it has gone 3 times or 4 times the budget. Okay? So that is not good. Okay? And if I have to import material for that from other part of the world, then that is not correct. So in everything and everything, it has to be appropriate. If I make a house in some part of the country and where people live in a different way, and I make it like the house that I'm doing it in Mumbai, then that is not correct. So in fact, I say that my architecture is for different types of people. And you have to understand that person and then make the right thing for him as far as his finance is concerned, as far as, where he lives, climate, everything, and then design.
I get you there. Absolutely get you there. Let me again, turn the page onto something which I think every professional goes through when he becomes a businessman. Nishant was talking about how you're getting younger, and hopefully, inshallah, you will keep getting younger. But as we go along, what's the succession plan? Is there a succession plan? What is that succession plan? So do you have somebody from the family taking over? Will you have somebody who you professionally employ? What is the thought? Is there a thought, first of all? And what is the thought?
There's nothing like, a succession plan.
Okay.
My daughter has his own practice.
Okay.
My son wants to do sculptures, paintings, and he says that I'll also do my architecture.
Right.
So I always say that you should not tell anybody, do this, do that. If they are good at it, they will do it. And I have lots of capable guys in my office, and I feel that somebody from that may take over the office, somebody else may take over the office. I have nothing like that. I'm just thinking about today that, okay, let's do this and we'll see about it. And whoever is capable will take over.
Inshallah, for the next 30 years, hopefully we keep seeing you at work. And after that, we see you on your new hobby, which could be another level of work. But let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
Okay. At this stage, because you talked about your office people, let's see one more video coming up from one of your colleagues again. Let's have video on you.
Hello. First of all, I would like to start by wishing you a very happy birthday. I would like to go back in time, 1990, when I joined you. You were a young man of 39 then. And I joined you initially thinking I would work only for a few months. But the way you treated me like a guide, philosopher, consul, and a friend, and never like a boss, is probably the reason I've been here for so long. With you in the office, there's never a dull moment. It's always very lively and energetic, and that has not changed over so many years. You've trained so many people, so many architects over a period of time who worked with you, probably more than any educational institute in India of architecture. So, people only know you as a great and a gifted architect, but you're also a great human being who does so much of philanthropy without making a noise about it. You're religious and believe in doing good, and these are great qualities besides being a great and gifted architect. I I sincerely pray and hope that your latest dream of making a home for every Indian comes true at the earliest. Wishing you all the best and best regards. Thank you.
That was Mr. Tehan also talking very confidently, obviously. Let me ask a question which is very different from what people usually ask you. People ask you, I'm sure, which is your best structure. Okay, let's ask that as well. Which is the best structure that you've ever created in your mind? Is there one like that?
There's nothing like and to judge also and say that, oh, this building is a fantastic building. For all you know, you have to judge a structure or a building in what kind of circumstances you made it. How much was the scope given to you? What was the finance given to you? And in all of that, then what came out is it a good building, or does it get really fantastic marks, or it doesn't get good marks? So just see, it's just not architecture is just not like a painting or a sculpture. Even it has got so many other things involved. First of all, when you start designing a building, there is a plot, the size is there, then there are requirements, then there are bylaws, there are so many different type of bylaws, then there is fire bylaw, there is open space. Then finally, the client is demanding, oh, give it to me in 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, okay? So it's just, and then finally, the trouble is that in India, after an architect has spent hours and hours and months designing and everything and constructing, a good building comes up in a city. No newspaper, nobody will write about it.
Okay.
But you design a salwar kameez, okay, and have a exhibition in an art gallery, and 10 newspapers will write about it.
I think that's a fair accusation. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, sometimes I say, we Indians don't desire good architecture. And we don't deserve good architecture. We don't appreciate. We don't appreciate. Jewelry, every second magazine will write about it. Salwar kameez, every second magazine will write about it. Yes.
Put down history, guys. Salwar kameez over building.
Yes, yes. And I really feel for it. I really feel. And what is it? How much of trouble, even to get a small thing passed from a municipality, how many times you have to do so many things. Oh, do like this, cut this here, cut that here. And after all of that, when a good looking building comes up, you don't even write a line. Doesn't it really hurt you?
No, I can understand. I can completely understand. In fact, let me just ask you a question on that, which I really wanted to ask. So what is that one thing which you don't like seeing your own work, which you saw finally and said, oh, I wish I wouldn't have done that. So there are some things which I'm sure proud of, which you love. But I'm asking for that one thing which you would have loved to redo. Is there anything like that?
As far as buildings are concerned, whatever has come about and in the time slot and with interaction with clients and everyone, it has come about. I think you can't just say that, oh, it should not have happened like this, because there were so many circumstances. But the only thing I sometimes regret is sometimes, the client says something and you don't agree, and then you regret it afterwards that, oh, if I had agreed, then I could have done like this. So you missed a chance. That's what I regret. Okay.
Okay, Hafeez, I'm going to move on to a question which I've had for a very long time. You are, whether you agree or no, you work quite a few hours. You spend most of the day working or thinking about work, etc. Has that caused ever a toll on your time with your family, friends, who you could call friends, or doing other things in life? Or is it just something that you are okay with? You learn to live with?
There's nothing, when you're getting, my mother never said anything. My mother did everything.
Right. Sorry, sir, you muted yourself by mistake, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Go on, please.
So my mother was most helpful, most kind, and everything. You can't. I can't give many words of how good she was. My wife also. I would say she's very, very cooperative, and she understands that architecture is my life. And to be very frank, when I was jokingly, I told her that, oh, you're my fourth wife. Because I said, my office is my first, my clients are my second. I don't know what I said third. And then I said, you are the fourth. And she also took it very, very jovially, and it's all fine. Sometimes when it gets, in fact, just 3 days back, I was still on a Zoom at about 10:30 in the night, and she made a big face, and she went and she said, oh, you're still working. So sometimes it happens, but by and large, work is part and parcel of life. Architecture to me is life and pleasure. So I'm enjoying, she's also enjoying. So that's it. My kids are also.
Hafeez, my last question before I go to the audience question and then I go on to the rapid fire round. My last question is, so there were various turning points in your life. I do know of an incident of Jahangir Art Gallery being dedicated to you quite young, right? That was one part. I want to know the story, first of all, for everybody. I know a bit of it. The second was getting Padma Bhushan that you did. Which one was the biggest story for you? Which one was the bigger turning around time or turn time for you? And of course the first story is extremely important for us to know.
I think everything has happened at the right time.
Right.
And I'm happy for that. When I was working with Karegat, whatever happened over there was great, and at the right time. Whatever happened at Academy was great and at the right time. The one-man exhibition, which Academy of Architecture and JJ College had it, that was also great. All the clients who have helped me and given me jobs each and every day, those are great times and great moments. Padma Bhushan also was really great and happy moment. So life has been, I would say that God has been very, very kind, more than kind. And I would like to thank God and all my clients and all my teachers who have helped me, taught me. I would like to mention some of the engineers who, when I was a small kid, and when I used to go to site and whatever I used to tell them, I remember Mr. Nahar and Mr. Raghavan, I forget his name. In front of everyone, they will say, yes, sir, we'll do it. But once all of them are gone, they will call me, hey, son, come here. What you said was wrong at that time. You must do like this. And they taught us. So right from an engineer to a carpenter, to a site worker, to everyone, so many people have taught me. And I'm really thankful to all of them. Each and every teacher of mine who has taught me, I'm thankful to them. And above all, the clients who gives us the job. And I always say they are next to God, because if not for them, where will you go? So to me, a client is next to God.
Yes.
Thank you.
No, but before we sit, no. There's a lot coming up.
Okay.
And we're not yet closing. So quickly, 2 questions from the audiences if we can have. Can we get that on, please? Team Play Dialogues. Can we have the first question on? I think Mr. Samir Jaggi wanted to ask a question. Is he around to ask that question? But he did. Wonderful. Samir, you'll have to unmute yourself and ask the question.
Sure, sir. Hi, good evening, sir. I would like to know, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, sir. So I'd like to know that what is the feasibility of an online architecture model today in India to reach Tier 1 and Tier 2 cities? Will an online model be more effective?
See, what I'll tell you, you will be again shocked. Okay. Up to now, before this coronavirus started last year, I was never working on any computers or anything. Okay. And in fact, this was the first time I started learning how to put on the computer, how to operate a computer. Because to me, my pencil and my pen, and I would say, okay, now draw it out and get it this, that. But I see a lot of potential in online, and how it can happen faster, how we are having conferences, and how we are talking on Zoom and other media and getting our work done. But there is a lot of scope, and I feel that it can, there's a lot of potential, and I'm sure, I'm not exploiting it to the maximum from my office. Today, half of my office is in different cities of India, because they are all settled over there right now with their families. And we are working very, very efficiently. Though I sincerely feel that work-wise, they are doing it very efficiently. But my interaction with them, what I could do on a tracing paper is not happening that efficiently. But that, I don't think that that's the fault of the technology, but that's the fault of me not knowing technology that well. So, but I can draw on the screen, and but still, I feel that the scope is tremendous, but I would like to have my old office ways of working, because that's I enjoy it, and I feel I will be able to work faster, and I'm hoping that we get to our old office ways of working. But my dear, you are a very young boy, and I really wish, and things, but the technology as far as work is concerned is one thing. I would really like that there should be a new material, how we can do faster, better, cheaper, how we can construct much more higher at a cheaper rate, faster rate. That is the need of the hour. And surely that's not your question, but that is my wish. I hope I have answered.
Absolutely happy with the answer and the added one. Samir, thank you very much for asking that question. We'll move on quickly to the second question that we have for the day. Rishi, can you place that question for us, please?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. We have received a lot of questions for Mr. Contractor, but we are going to ask only one question right now, and that's from Ikshika. The question is, one piece of advice for a fiery 26-year-old architect today.
Piece of advice, first of all, you are in a profession which is really a superb profession. And I would say that where you can create. And when you can create something, it's next to godliness, And like accountancy or any other profession, a lot of times you will feel that, oh, they are earning more, they are doing this, that. I always compare and I always say that an accountant, for him, 2 plus 2 is 4. But if for us architects, we can make 2 plus 2 into 24, because when we create, somebody might think that it is only this much. You can create and make it into this much. So you are in a great profession. Just get into it, love it. But this is one profession which God has to give you something. You just cannot get it from textbook. So if God has given you something and you can rear it and bring it up into a beautiful tree, then it's a great profession. If God has not given you and you've taken it up because somebody has told you that, oh, you're going to make a lot of money in architecture, then God help you. Nobody else can help you.
God help you nevertheless. Whoever asked that question, Ishika, thank you so much for having asked this. Thank you very much on this, but we now move on to our funniest section, if I may say, and I'm going to shorten it. So quick 10 questions, sir, on you, no thinking, just answering. That's all that you have to do in rapid cross-position. The first one, sir, there's a lot of Bollywood around you, you are, as somebody said, you made architecture mainline. Question, if Indian cinema made a movie around you, who would you like to see as casted as you? Indian cinema. Quick one, can't think.
Shah Rukh Khan.
Shah Rukh Khan. It is wonderful. Thank you so much. Okay, do you at all?
But to be very frank, I knew very. Okay, anyway, chalo, second question.
Very few names.
Abhiga pardon?
You knew very few names to name here. Is that what it was?
No, it's okay.
Okay. Do you maintain a bucket list? What are the top 3 things in the bucket list that you need to do now? You want to do now?
I want to do something by which my dream comes true. That is a house for every Indian. Okay. That's my first thing.
Okay.
I want to make my dream come true, that I can provide house at 10 lakhs.
Okay.
And the third thing, I want to make Mumbai free of slums.
Okay. Long back, I don't know how back it was, but you had a habit of writing things on the board, which were quotes or which were thoughts. You were called Mr. Tattoo. Am I right, Contractor?
I don't know. Nobody has told me that. But if you're telling me that,
I read that about you. I don't know how right it is, but I want to know your favorite quote or a dialogue or anything that you remember, which is kind of important to you.
Oh, I think the most important dialogue that I remember from my school days, and we used to always make fun of that teacher of ours, may his soul rest in peace, Mr. Tattu. He used to every day come in the morning, and the first thing that he used to write on the blackboard is no luck without hard work. And we used to make fun of him and shout out loudly and say, sir, no work. And he used to keep on telling us, he used to say in Gujarati, Dikrao, means, son, you'll remember this. And I firmly remember this, no luck without hard work.
No luck without hard work. Good one. Okay. If you had any one superpower, what would that be? What would you want as a superpower?
God is always there. He's already a superpower.
Okay.
So now, which other superpower you are wanting to talk about?
Okay, I'll let you go with that because God is involved in this one. I'll go on to the next one. If you could spend a day in your employee's shoes, what would you do? That one thing that you will do to impress Hafeez. That one thing as an employee you would do. You would know that best. What impresses you most?
I would say that, work efficiently, do things in the right manner, do things, at the right time. Don't waste time. Make yourself very, very clear in the office, not to just keep on talking and wasting time.
Okay.
And all of that really, it just comes about. I remember there was one South Indian girl who was working with me, and she's a young girl. She came to do some internship for so many months, and whenever I used to see, and anybody used to tell her, "Oh, do this," she'd just run and do it, come back, do this. And when she left, I really missed her. So I would say that an efficient worker, boy or a girl, man or a woman, okay, an efficient worker is known and admired anywhere. And that's what, you don't have to say that you do this or that.
Okay.
It just comes out.
Okay, I'll move on to some easier, quicker ones. Work from home or work from office? Which one is your personal favorite now?
Both are good. Depends upon the circumstances.
Or is it work from office as if it was home?
No.
No, that
I
was
think
just
working from office is much more efficient because it's like you're working as a single twig,
Right.
and combine a twig, you're much more stronger. You have access to everyone, so combined effort is much better.
Okay. Hafeez, you're stuck in an island for 10 days. Who do you want to be stuck with? Wife, friends, or your design board?
I would say all three are necessary.
No,
Without
it
that,
is only one.
huh?
It is only one. See, Hafeez, this is the parting shot. I want you to get into trouble.
No. I would say friends.
Okay, that's a good one. I didn't expect that to happen.
Yes.
Are you a
Because
real person or are
I
you
don't need a design board to design. With friends, you have everyone. The wife also is not a wife unless she is a friend, so she is included.
Okay.
And it's with friends, you always need your friends in your good times, in your bad times, and it's only the friends that will say, "Oh, let's do this, let's do that," and that's how life keeps on going. So you need good friends. Without good friends, it's nothing.
If you could become any one person, living or dead, who would that
Living
be?
on?
If you could become for a day any living person, any person living or dead, who would you want to be?
Oh, I would like to, I'd always say that, I would like to become the chief minister so that I can design whole of Mumbai. But now I know that the chief minister doesn't design Mumbai. So who designs Mumbai and how we can transform Mumbai into a better place? I want to become that. Because I feel that I owe a lot to my city. I want my city to be more livable. I want my city more to be, greener, better, not where you spend hours and hours in cars, not where you, so, and I want my city to be free of slums. I want everyone to have a proper house, everyone to have proper water supply, and living in a good hygienic way.
Okay.
That's what I want.
Since we talked of your city, Mumbai, and your favorite one, which is that one city in India which is your favorite beyond Mumbai?
Which is one city which is favorite to?
Beyond Mumbai, within India, but beyond Mumbai, your favorite city?
I like Delhi, but I won't like to live there. Somehow or the other, I really like Calcutta. I like. See, I rarely hate anything. I like Bangalore also. I am that kind of a person who starts liking everything and everything because I see something good in it and I like it.
I get it, but
so-
should I still take it as Delhi as your first choice?
No, never.
Then?
No. Delhi is a nice place, but I won't like to live in it. So Bangalore is a nice place. Now, I may like to live in Bangalore, but I'll find language is a big problem because I don't speak that language. But it's nice, if I really, I would like to go to a hill station and stay there. And I think I love some of the hill stations of India, like Ooty, Mahabaleshwar. That's where I think those are the places which I really love because I'm in the midst of forest and scenery, and that's what I love.
The last question for the day, and after that we have something to show you. But the last question is, if you had an extra hour every day, that 25th hour that you got, what would you be doing with that day?
I used to exercise quite a lot.
Okay.
And since so many years, with work schedule and everything, and I always say, I'll start doing it, from tomorrow I'll do more, I'll do this, do that. Maybe I'll take off some more time and start doing more exercise.
That's a good resolution to take. Hafeez. We want to see
Yeah.
very, very many.
So, but let's get that 1 hour. Let's get that 1 hour.
So maybe that will be the 23rd hour and not the 25th. Having said that, Hafeez, I'm so glad that we talked these 2 hours plus with you, one today, one the other day when it was your birthday. And before you go, we want to show you a few things. So first of all, I want to thank you, and not just you, but also my entire team, which has helped us put this together several weeks. Their weekends go, their weekdays go in preparation, the weekends go in doing this. Thank you, Farhan, Rishi, Ashwin, Mayur, Renuka, Joanne, Shivam, Harsh, Ameya, Ritesh, and of course the other supporting team, Pasna, Ananta, Mandar, Kalpesh, Ranjit, Osaf, Akshay, and Ekta. And in this team today, I want to pick up somebody who's a favorite girl of all of us because she does so much work. All the promotions that you see, which you may be tired of sometimes, many of them are done by our dear Renuka Lemay. Renuka is one of the designers in the team, one of the better ones that we have, and extremely proud of. Renuka, I know how much work you've done over the last 2 Play Dialogues, so thank you so much. This is an official tribute to you. Thank you so much for having done so much at odd hours and wonderful promotions out there. Thank you, Renuka. And as we move on from Renuka, we do want to show you something that we have prepared for you. So here it is, Hafeez. Please have a look. Gentlemen, here's thanking on all of our behalf the architect who's best known to be what he does best, which is architecture, of course, and the best known architect in the country. Hafeez Contractor, thank you so much for spending so much time with us. It was lovely chatting up with you. Ladies and gentlemen, this was our penultimate episode of Play Dialogues Season 2. We will have one more, and after that we take a break to hopefully come back bigger, better, stronger in Play Dialogue Season 3. But thank you very much, please, and thank you all my audience for having so much patience. Thank you. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. So, hope it went well.
Yes.